Kaylee, what is our third main topic today?
Our third main topic is from Dan V. He says, "Hey, John and crew. So Henry Cavill did an interview with Josh Horowitz for the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast where he explained when he got the call to shoot the scene of Black Adam as well as the type of Superman he gets to play. He said, there is such a bright future ahead for the character. I'm so excited to tell a story with an enormously joyful Superman. Now, I'm glad he gets to be back in the role, and I'm sure there's some weird people who will get upset at him saying he will play an enormously joyful Superman, but that makes me more excited for this return. What are your thoughts on his comments?" Okay, this is my thing. Why would people be upset with a joyful Superman? Like,
because people want sadness, Kaylee.
I guess.
People want dreary, dark sadness.
No.
There's so many people. It's like, there's a new comic book movie coming out. Yeah. Is it dark?
Like, there's already so much darkness in the world. We don't, like, let's just, have a little escape and see Superman be happy in his cape, flying.
Well, to be fair, they themselves set the precedence for this, right? Because Man of Steel, while I consider it to be, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, I consider to be one of the great comic book movies of all time. I think it's the most underrated comic book film of all time. But it was a different toned Superman than what people growing up with the comic book Superman may have been used to, right? Okay. They wanted, and listen, I'm not trying to put words in anybody's mouths. I literally read this in some of their writings. They wanted the little curl and gosh golly, ma'am, I'll get your kitten out of your tree. Oh, that's a tremendous smelling apple pie, Miss Jones. Like, that's the kind of Superman that they wanted. A lot of people wanted that. And there's nothing wrong with wanting that. That's great. Mm-hmm. Warner Brothers and Snyder decided to tell a story of Superman that had a lot more, to use one of Rob's words, verisimilitude. What would an alien kid, a child growing up who didn't even know he was alien, but knowing there was something tremendously different about him compared to all the other kids, that, quite frankly, some of those great abilities tortured him, caused intense pain and trauma and whatever, and always knew he's different, whatever, finds out what he is, ultimately finds out he is an alien. His parents finally tell him one day, you're not actually our kid. We found you. And you're from another world somewhere. We don't even know what you are. But the world is going to freak out. Pa Kent, the world is going to freak out when they find out about you. It's going to change everything. It's going to change the way all of humanity sees reality and their world and what does it mean to be human and all that kind of stuff. And so you got to live with this burden, kid. And then, that's the Superman that we meet. It felt like what would really happen if a kid from Krypton crash landed on Earth and had to grow up under those circumstances. But you'll notice that as the DC, at the time, it's now the DCU, but at the time when it was the DCEU, as it progressed, you started to see Henry Cavill add more and more of those elements of the more joyful Superman. That by the time we got in both the theatrical version of Justice League and the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, you actually saw a Superman who was actually enjoying life and loved being alive, all that kind of stuff. And so I love the way they portrayed Superman in Man of Steel. I thought that was absolutely appropriate for who he was. Yeah. And now that he's discovered who he is, and he's had some time to grow into that of understanding of who he is and what he is and discover himself, he's become more comfortable in himself, and that true personality of Kal-El, Clark Kent, starts to come out. And I think we are ready now to move in. I loved the Superman in Man of Steel, but I think that Superman in Man of Steel has to evolve. And I'm looking forward. You know what? I think there are going to be a lot of people, Rob, that are looking forward to see that more enormously joyful Superman, who's going to be faced with obstacles, who's going to be faced with challenges for sure. But he's got a different worldview now. Anyway, Rob, you hear Henry Cavill's comments on this. What do you think, and how do you think people are going to react to it? Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. And now for the plot twist. I'm just kidding. There isn't one. Mint Mobile just has premium wireless from $15 a month. There's no trapping you into a 2-year contract or opening the bill to find all these crazy fees. There's no luring you in with free subscriptions to streaming services that you'll forget to cancel and be charged full price for. With my old wireless provider, every month when I open the bill, bill, it was like playing roulette. I never knew how big the bill was going to be, and it always seemed to get bigger. With Mint Mobile, it's totally different. I know exactly how little I'm paying every month, and there's never any surprises. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family. And at Mint Mobile, families start at just 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And guys, you get to use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. So transferring over couldn't be easier. So to get premium wireless from just $15 a month and no unexpected plot twists, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. You'll make your wallet very happy at mintmobile.com/Campea.
I think they're going to react really well because, look, when I was growing up, when I was a little kid, there was the 50s Adventures of Superman with George Reeves as Superman and Clark Kent. And he was a baller. Like, he loved being Superman. He loved being Clark Kent. And he would use his superpowers and scoop people. You know, he'd swoop in there and get the story, deliver it. He was awesome. And he was having a good time. Being Superman is not a dreary life. Superman already, he's got a hot redhead at home in Amy Adams. He's got Lois. I would think now he lives in a world where he's probably been to Atlantis and seen dudes fighting on sharks and seahorses, which means that's kind of neat. I'm sure Wonder Woman has said, why don't you come check out Paradise Island? He's met the Amazons, probably spoken to them, met Connie Nielsen. Hey, how are you? You know, and so now there's a reason to be happy. You know, all and so in being Superman, he's now, I think, secure in his life. As Superman, he's secure in the fact that there are these wondrous kingdoms on Earth, and there are these people that are my friends, and what we are here to do is benefit mankind. And for the most part, I think he's probably now having a pretty good time, even with his dual life. You know, I'd like to see him be the cub reporter or the new reporter that gets the scoops, that is the best reporter at the Daily Planet, that is having a good time. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge across the room with Lois. I know what's up. You know, have a great time. Because all of us, I mean, what do you do when you're a little kid and you see a sheet lying there? You put it around your neck.
Oh, I was going to say something else, but no, yours is better. Keep going.
You know, like, well, they had it in Man of Steel, you know, when he puts the cape or the...
That was a great moment in that first.
You put it around your neck,
moment.
you pretend you fly, and it's that's what I want to see. And you know what? When there is somebody like, if reports are true or whatever, say they go with Brainiac as the villain. I mean, Superman's approach to Brainiac's like, hey, come have a good time, man. Why don't we use your vast alien intellect to do some good? And then he finds out this guy's a douchebag, and then he has to fight him. But he doesn't have to be like, oh, woe was me. He can fight him with a smile on his face. He's like, you don't want to mess with me. I'm going to go get Aquaman and Wonder Woman. I got the entire Atlantis and all the 7 kingdoms, and I've got Paradise Island behind me. You know, don't mess with Earth.
Yeah, Superman doesn't even care. Superman doesn't even need him because he's Superman.
I know.
He's Superman.
I would love to see a movie where the first like 20 minutes is Clark Kent and Superman just being a baller dude, just having a great time, a great life. You know, showing up, throwing out the first pitch at a Yankees game, traveling. You know,
better
going
like
to
do it with his pinky.
Presiding over peace talks. You know, in some mythical DC land. I mean, just being awesome. And that's the way to do it. And he has that great smile on his face, and that's how you should start the movie.
Here's the thing.
Then you tear his life apart.
I don't think Ben Affleck's coming back. But I mean, he's going to do a couple cameos and a couple things. That's great. But man, I would love to see him come back because one of my favorite moments in what was the DCEU and is now the DCU was the ending of Justice League when they're back at the Kent farm and Clark says to Bruce, like you see that relationship between them, right? It was the first time really you got to really see it where they're very casual. It's Sunday afternoon. They're having a good time. And Clark says, how did you get the house back from the bank? And Bruce goes, I bought the bank, which by the way, Bruce, you're not very good with your money.
Who bought the farm?
You could have just bought the farm from the bank. I just got to guess that probably
they could say no.
Yeah. Then you double the offer. Yeah, I don't know. You had to buy the bank. But anyway, that one moment of just the two of them casually talking together, that was magic to me. Like I loved that. And I would love to see more of that moving forward if they can.
If Chris McQuarrie's not going to come back or not come back, not do the Superman movie, Ben Affleck should direct it, and Batman can be a secondary character, and they can have that banter. Like, what the thing is, wouldn't it be interesting if the thing about Superman is he can't go and deal with banks. He can't do those kinds of things, but Bruce can.
Somebody, the nerd upstairs, brought up a really great one in the live chat, and he said, "What did he say?" Nerd upstairs says, "I mean, it also would have been less expensive if Batman just bought Smallville instead of the entire bank." Yeah, that would have worked too. That would have been a big check mark. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? I love hearing Henry Cavill being excited about evolving the Superman character and having an enormously joyous Superman. I think that's great. I love the way it was in Man of Steel, but that character would evolve as they learn to be Superman, as Rob was saying. How do you guys feel about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comments section below and leave your thoughts there.